Why the medics took to the streets this morning. Joining me in studio is Dr. Dennis Miskela, who is the Deputy Secretary General at the KMPDU. I'm promoting you without knowing. Welcome to the broadcast. It's always a pleasure to have you. All right, so before we even get to the nitty-gritties of the protest, let's start with you as a healthcare worker. How would you define the state of healthcare in the country?
Thank you very much for having me this evening. And I really first want to thank the Standard Media Group and also the journalists in this country, the journalists, for shining a spotlight to the healthcare situation in this country. For a long time, people have swept matters of healthcare under the carpet. For a long time, people have turned matters of healthcare very private. No, healthcare is very private. People suffer silently, and when they die, they might mourn public, but then go back and just suffer silently. So the fact that we are putting on the spotlight healthcare issues and making health a political agenda, I can dare say that in the next coming election, the Waterloo of this government, or what will make or break it, is how they handle the healthcare topic and the sector. Yeah. So we're not doing so well, sadly, around healthcare, because our leaders are not walking the talk. Our leaders are not feeling the pain that Mwananchi is feeling. And why so? Because our leaders are behaving akin to somebody, a parent who cooks for the children ugali and mboga, then after he has fed them, then he goes and eats unyama and whatever in the nearby hotel. Because whatever our leaders is giving to Kenyans, they don't partake of it. Right from the governor who is going to be insisting that healthcare is devolved, don't talk about it. When they fall sick, they come to Nairobi to private hospitals. To the MPs who are making laws saying how SHA is good, when they fall sick, they don't use that SHA. Yeah? To everybody who's telling you that wait, itakuwa sawa. Yet they're not waiting, they have a very beautiful cover. Then you flip it and think that healthcare is so unique unlike other sectors. For example, I keep on saying that in education, if you delay capitation, you can set it next term and pay suppliers. A child who fails can repeat school. I know that is bad, can be fixed in the next financial cycle. You get that? But healthcare cannot wait. Healthcare is now. Yeah? Because if you are ill and you need help now and you don't get it, you are dead. And once you are dead, you are dead. They don't take two. If today you fall off a motorcycle and you need urgent care and you don't get it and that leg rot and they amputate it, the leg is gone. It's never growing again. If you're hypertensive and you can't get proper medication and you go into kidney failure or you go blind from diabetes, you can't get it back. So we cannot wait even a single day extra when we are demanding for a functional healthcare. And not just a functional healthcare, functional public health system that is affordable and responsive to the needs of the people. In Article 43 of the Constitution talks about the highest attainable level of healthcare. Our leaders have flipped this to just any kind of healthcare. That is bora afya. So afya bora. Yeah? So you are being told that we have opened the hospitals, but there are no drugs in those shelves. There are no imaging services in those shelves. There are no laboratories. There are no theater. There are no healthcare workers. Yeah? So people are suffering silently. And until you get a chance to fall sick or to have a close loved one, we might think that we're just talking. And it looks very distant. No, how God made us is that we never think about illness or death, as much as we know that we are all potential patients. Yeah? We never think about daily. But until you love a loved one or you are sick and you have to ask yourself that, where do I go to? Do I go to Kenyatta, or do I go to KU, or do I go to a private hospital? Yeah. Until you have a loved one where you have a neonate, a premature baby, and you need a neonatal ICU, and Kenyatta tells you we are full, and you see your baby breathing their last. Or until a mother tonight has a child running fever, and she's a mother who does laundry in Kilimani, and she has to ask herself that tomorrow morning or tonight, if I go to Kenya and stay the whole night, can I wake up tomorrow and go and do my business? Those are hard questions that families grapple with every single day in this country as our politicians jump around playing politics in their lives.
So in a nutshell, the healthcare system is in shambles.
We are not in shambles. We are dead. We literally need to build afresh. There's nothing to fix here. We need to build afresh. And it was teetering on the edges with the NHIF. SHA literally put the last nail on this coffin.
So from where you sit, NHIF was better than SHA, because a majority of government officials seem to think that on paper, SHA is better.
You know, in this country, we have to learn to be honest people. And whatever is frustrating in this country, we are men and women who don't mean what they say, don't say what they mean, but above all, they don't say honest things. We all agree that there's nothing perfect in this life. But I don't think that if today you walked into your house and you found a snake in some corner, you won't burn that house. You will get the snake out and continue living there. The only time you're going to be burning that house is if you have a construction company that will benefit from constructing a new house. You get that? NHIF had its weaknesses. We all agree. But I believe that its weaknesses could have been fixed without having to bring it down. I'm not defending NHIF. I'm not here to defend NHIF. But I'm saying that, and if you felt that the problem was supposed to be fixed by building a new house, then this house should have been better. You can't take me from a house that has cracks to one that is leaking, has no windows, is literally falling apart. You get that? So what Kenyans are saying that one had its problems, but it was serving the purpose.
Okay.
And if you say that it's about corruption, that was the issue. Up to date, I'm yet to see a single person taken to court because of corruption in NHIF. 1. 2, if you are saying that somebody was doing 5 amputations in one leg, if you know the procedure was done 5 times, I'm sure you know the doctor and the hospital. How come you can't mention them? If you say that a cesarean section, somebody delivered 60 times, then I'm sure you know the hospital and the mother and the doctor. Name them. As KMPDU, we are willing to help government even prosecute our members who have been shown that they did that corruption. Because if you don't do that, then you punish very innocent people. That every time we flag a problem with the SHA, you keep on blackmailing and gaslighting and that the thieves are talking, they are fighting progress. Nobody has stopped the government from prosecuting the thieves of NHIF. But we all know that every time a hyena wants to eat our children, he or she will accuse them of smelling like goats. So we know very well that somebody wanted to do whatever they are doing, so they had to accuse NHIF of being whatever it was.
All right. And now that NHIF is here to stay, as President William Ruto said, in fact, he did even mention that those who are against SHA were beneficiaries or cartels of NHIF. What happens next? Not
really. You know, one thing I know, and one thing I've learned and I've loved about the president from June 25th or 26th, when the insurrection, that he has learned to step back sometimes and change his mind. And there's nothing wrong with changing your mind. Only a fool doesn't change his mind. Nobody was born knowing these things. And some of these things, we can experience them as we start. I cannot tell this country that if in the next 2 to 3 months, SHA does not stop this teething nonsense, we'll have to take it down. You cannot teach for over 1 year. There's a certain point that a child must now be told that now you have delayed milestones and you need to see a specialist for care. SHA is heading to a point you're going to accuse it of having delayed milestones.
Okay.
And you can't wait any longer.
All right.
2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
And I would say that it has to go. We must either get a better system or take us back. Even in the Bible, when the Israelites are not seeing any hope with Moses, he told them, "You didn't bring us here to starve to death. Take us back to Egypt, at least over there we had meals and roofs over our heads." There's nothing wrong with us saying that we are not going to starve in this shared desert when we knew that in NHIF at least there was water to quench our thirst.
All right, and we'll be getting to SHA in a few, but let's talk about today's demonstration. It's not a strike yet. It is just demonstrations.
Yes.
Why did you take to the streets?
We took to the streets because we have a beautiful constitution that allows us to picket, demonstrate, strike, do everything peaceably. And I had to thank the government. Of course, it's a favor. The law grants us that. But the fact that the police have exercised restraint for so many demos we have had. And I also thank also the membership of the healthcare workers that we have never had instances that we have threatened the security situation, the peace of the traveling Kenyans. So we have been able to get that chance to express our displeasure. And why do you express our displeasure? One is that there's this big issue around internship. Not just the doctors' internship, but also the clinical officers and the nurses. Yeah? Where by law, you are told that when you graduate, you must have a compulsory 1-year internship for you to have experiential learning. Yes, you have the certificate. And if you don't want to go into clinical practice, you don't have to go for internship. But for you to be able to treat patients and manage them well, you must have a compulsory 1-year period under internship for you to get a license to be competent enough to work without supervision. And doctors, after those 6 years in school, are made by law to do this. And we have an internship policy. We have a CBA that was signed in 2017, that's 8 years ago. Yeah, that when they graduate, 30 days after graduation, they should be posted for internship.
Yeah.
And when you post them for internship, you should pay them a certain amount of money. This figure is 206,000. This figure did not come from KMPDU. KMPDU, when we first signed our first CBA in 2013, we were demanding, and the government agreed to pay interns 357,000. It is in 2017 that the government went against its word and told us that SRC had done a job evaluation, a scientific process of what interns do. And they were advised that for the work they do, they should earn 206,000. That was a government figure. And they have paid this money faithfully for the last 7 years. But from last year, we began having challenges when the former minister, Nahumicha, mentioned that we need to have that cut on their salaries. And we, of course, we pushed back and we won with that lot. But now this year, there's another batch that have graduated. And they are being told, sadly, that they have to take the 70,000 shillings, that the country is teetering on the brink of economic collapse.
All right. Just before you continue, correct me if I'm wrong, but in October last year, the High Court upheld the Salaries and Remuneration Commission's directive on the rate of stipend for healthcare interns. I believe that conversation was going on. But for the sake of our viewers, what exactly was agreed upon in the return to work formula in regards to this particular issue of interns?
Yeah, so whatever happened in that instance was a very, very tragic thing, that the SRC made this decision without any scientific process. We live in a country where we are all educated, especially doctors. Nothing to brag about, but most of our AIM students, we like reasoning through logic. If they did a scientific process that said you pay them 206, we asked SRC, show us this scientific process that showed you now that the work that the interns do is now less. Mark you, the shortage of doctors against the population is always increasing. Why? Because the population goes up, but the numbers are not being hired. So if for anything, interns do more. Inflation and all that, you'll be paying them more. There was nothing that showed us how they came to that agreement, apart from the power of the pen and the letterhead. Somebody just said that since we are SRC, you can't ask questions. That was gone with the old Katiba. The new Katiba means that every single thing you do, you have to tell us how and why. It's called public participation. You get that? And when they came that, we went to court, and the court didn't say that SRC is final. The court said that SRC is mandated by law to set salaries. Take. And court said that there's a CBA that is legally binding that cannot be varied unilaterally. Take. So since the SRC advisory is contravening the CBA, and remember that with the CBA, once you negotiate a CBA, the SRC is given the CBA to go through it. Then they give a thumbs up that we are okay with it, we can afford this as a country, let's register it. They did that, and we took the CBA to court, and the court adopted the CBA as a court order, as a court document. So the CBA is a court order. So this SRC that okayed it cannot then turn unilaterally and just change it. And the court told them that since your advisory is against your initial advisory and approval, go back, both parties go back and talk. And that's why we were able to talk last year and agree that, okay, government says we are wrong, we'll pay them 206. But we'll want to have this discussion further based on the economic situation of the country.
Yeah, because they're saying it's not sustainable considering the high numbers of interns.
What is not sustainable? And let's now talk math.
Okay.
It costs 86 billion to pay healthcare workers in a year in this country. Interns make around 30% of healthcare workers in this country. So if you took 30% of 86 billion, the math is around 24-25 billion worth of work that interns do. Do you know how much you're asking for intern salary? 5 billion only. So can you imagine somebody who is you are paying 5 billion, doing 25 billion worth of work? It's common sense. Internship is a saving process, not an expensive process. So on the line of math and economics, it's a no-brainer. The only reason why somebody would want to look for the weakest, the meekest, and target them, because they think that interns don't have a voice. Because if you're all struggling, then let's start from cutting down MP salaries and politician salaries and MCA salaries. If you're struggling with that extra 5 billion, then tell me why Parliament has an extra 7.3 billion for traveling.
But how do you justify the 206? Let me just take you back.
Let me justify.
Okay.
The 206,000, first of all, is a gross salary. The take-home salary of an intern is 147,000. That's the net salary that interns take. The 206 is a gross salary. And that's really what interns do, first of all. Every single time you go to a hospital at level of 4, 5, 6, the first person you interact with is an intern. And this intern in the initial days, they work under supervision. But sometimes they are set free to work and only call when somebody they are in trouble. As a doctor, I've been a doctor from 2013. I've done my master's in OBG and all that. But I can tell you that the most difficult period of my practice as a doctor was as an intern. Most of the medicine that I still practice up to date was what I learned as an intern. You will work day and night. You come from the night shift into the morning, you do ward round before you go home. You sleep, and at 6, you're back again to the ward round. It's not easy what they do. Then you see there's so many doctors who lost their lives because of the pressures of internship. You add that to the issue around the pay, and one intern, these interns, when they're being posted, is a random posting. You spin a wheel, and where you land, because Kenyans exist in the whole country, you will be posted there. Yeah? So imagine this, and this intern asked the president when we went for a meeting with the president, with the intern, that I come from a single parent household. My poor mother is in the village. I'm a dentist in Kenyatta, intern at Kenyatta. For me, as being the first on call, I have to live within Kenyatta. So I have to get a house around Ngumo, Upper Hill, and Kilimani area. With 40,000, if you give me that 70 gross, where can I live near the hospital? And if I live far away, I'll be killed. The Nakuru intern was killed walking to work. There's no ambulance to pick them. There's no cold rooms. You get that? So they have to live near the hospital, near those towns, because hospitals are near towns. So rent is high. Yeah? So you have to pay them what is commensurate to the work they do and what is able to give them life decent enough for them to stay around and to keep them alive.
Let me be the devil's advocate just for a moment.
Yes.
For example, if we continue with this discussion and the government goes on with the 206, what stops the nurses, the clinical officers from demanding the same?
Yeah, I'm coming to that, but there's something I forgot that, if interns were allowed, for example, let's just say that even if they were to insist, first of all, the 70, then, and because we have been compared to other interns in other ministries, yeah, that's why plumbers are getting 10,000, or we are having interns who are engineers getting 25,000. What is different from you? If I was an intern coming from my mother's house, as I go to the nearby health center to intern, I could be under my mother's roof and I'm okay. But you have thrown me somewhere in Lamu to intern in King Fahd, and I come from Bungoma. I have no mother to commute from. Secondly, we have never asked for a pay rise for interns. Nurses never asked for a pay rise for interns. Neither these clinical officers asked for a pay rise for interns. We have been paid those figures for 7 years comfortably. Nobody has ever complained. It is the ministry who came with the idea. And I wonder that, do they really love peace? Because as KMPDU, we're getting to a point that we're getting worked up. After we finished last year's shenanigans, we were so happy that we wanted to have peace. That's why even we had issues with Shah and all that. We told them, it's okay. We are willing and ready to support this thing and make it work. We were even accused of being compromised at one point. We were like, no, we want peace. We know that this Shah must work for them to be able to hire more doctors, build more hospitals. We have always wanted peace, nothing but peace. But the characters in this country who I think they love it, I think they trade in chaos. They love it when people are agitated. They love it when everybody is angry.
Okay.
Young people, doctors, everybody is angry. They just want peace, and you wonder why.
So this is a conversation that has been going on, and of course we'll continue with other issues. But even as we continue with other issues that you were equally on the streets for, what has been the agreement? Because it's been a negotiation.
The agreement has been very simple. The government agreed that the 206 was a valid figure.
That was in December.
And that is why they paid it. And they have paid, then they initially paid people 70,000 for like 3 months.
Yeah.
They went back and paid the balance. And do you know why? They did that because for the first time, we had a minister who was understanding who an intern is. Because the biggest challenge we had last time is that you walk into a room of people who don't know nothing about doctors, and somebody starts telling you that interns are students.
So has that conversation been had with the current CS?
Yes, and we got it from my sister, because when she came, she's a doctor. She's worked with us, she's a beneficiary of the CBA. She's been an intern, she knows what interns do. So it was very simple. She just had to go and tell her colleagues, because sometimes people in government don't listen to the union. So when they heard from their side, she told them that, guys, these are doctors. We met Raila around that time. We told him that you were there when the CBA was being signed in 2017 and you played a part in it. You can't keep quiet. And they pushed for the same. And we were able to get that. Currently, the challenge you're having right now is that the same forces that like chaos is they have come back again. They can't believe that they lost the first time. So they're trying to try their luck a second time.
Okay.
Yeah? Because what have come, and we have done our investigations of what is happening. The internship issue has nothing to do with the public fiscal space. The issue of internship has nothing to do with the public interest. Internship issues purely private commercial interest, where some people somewhere who own hospitals privately feel that healthcare workers are expensive as they come in entry level. So they want to underpay healthcare workers. So what do they say? You can't underpay somebody whom you have been paying X amount of money. So what do? You start by underpaying them right from internship. When you pay them 40,000 net, then you can pay them 70,000 net as medical officers and pay them 50,000 net as consultants.
Okay.
That's the whole idea, that starting them from the word go. Then you can start them all through. But we have news for them.
Okay.
KMPDU will negotiate over everything. KMPDU will give up on anything. We told them, take the 18, give us one. One thing we will never agree to is to any discussion that throws an intern under the bus. Why? Because interns as it springs up the mountains that this river called medical practice flows into.
All right.
You cut the trees and cut that spring, there's no flow downstream.
Hold that thought. I want us to take a short break, but when we come back, of course, there's another hot potato. That is the issue of provision of comprehensive medical covers for medics. This coming your way after the break.